5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Vijay Narayan at your Legend FM News Center in Big Bull of Vinaka. To everyone watching us on Facebook on our Fiji Village platform, also all the radio stations, good afternoon to you. This is a special update on the weather. Tropical Cyclone Mel is likely to intensify into a Category 3 system as it approaches the Fiji group tonight. Acting Director of the Nandi Weather Office, Bipen Prakash, says people should be prepared for destructive Category 3 winds. He says if the system moves closer to the land areas in comparison to the current expected path, hurricane force winds can also be experienced over the land areas. Please note damaging winds and cyclone impacts can begin several hours prior to the cyclone center passing over or nearby. Secure your homes and properties and know your evacuation centers. Move now, please, while it is still daylight if you're living in a vulnerable area. I repeat, move now while it is still daylight if you're living in a flood prone area or in a vulnerable area which is prone to flooding. A storm warning remains in force for Yasawa and Mamanuda groups, Western and Northern Viti Levu, and is now in force for Southern Viti Levu, Vatulele, Kandavu, and nearby smaller islands. A gale warning remains in force for Rotuma, western half of Vanuatu, that includes Dreketi, Bua to Savu-Savu, Eastern Viti Levu, and Lomai Viti group. A strong wind warning remains in force for the rest of Fiji. A heavy rain warning remains in force for the whole of Fiji. The possible impacts due to heavy rain include localized flooding of susceptible communities, businesses in low-lying areas, localized flooding of minor roads, Irish crossings and bridges with some disruption to traffic flow, poor visibility at land and sea with increased risk of motor vehicle accidents due to slippery. Now, the possible impacts due to the expected tropical cyclone include significant damage to houses of very light materials and old galvanized iron roofs blown off, risk of disruption in communication network and power supply due to damaged power lines. Most plants and crops can be damaged, damages and flooding of roads, settlements, properties, and infrastructure near streams and riverbanks. These damages that I have listed down for you is based on intensity of the wind speed, and the intensity of the wind speed is determined by the category of the cyclone. And as it has been stated that by the time category 2 tropical cyclone Mel approaches the Fiji waters, it is expected to intensify into a category 3 system. And based on the grading, this means that the intensity and the strength of the winds will definitely go as high as 120 kilometers per hour and beyond. So you have to be prepared for that. There will be controlled movements from 6 p.m. this evening to 4 a.m. tomorrow in vulnerable places in the country as a result of the approaching tropical cyclone Mel. National Disaster Management Office Director Vasiti Soko says this decision has been made after discussions with the NDMO Emergency Committee and Prime Minister Sitiveni Rambuka. All non-essential civil servants are to continue working at home again tomorrow. The director also clarified that this is not a curfew and they are focused on getting people loitering to go home.
So it's not a curfew, it's just the police coming in to control moving of people with regard to their safety. You've seen it with such incident previously practiced. There's a lot of swimming in flooded river, there's a lot of playing, and there's a lot of kids moving around. So this control movement is just to enable police to move people to safety, and if there is a need for them to ask people or ask children to go home if they're just loitering around, this will enable them to do that. But it is not a curfew.
A message from Fiji Village News. Parents, please ensure your children remain at home. People are urged not to venture out into flooded areas to go to functions. Please do not go out in boats to visit loved ones as we expect very rough seas tonight into tomorrow. More than 290 people have moved to 8 evacuation centers around the country. National Disaster Management Office Director Vasiti Soko says they have 1 evacuation center in the Central Division, 2 in the West, and 4 centers are open in the Eastern Division. Soko says each of these evacuation centers is manned by two police officers, one male and one female officer, who are always on standby to ensure the safety and security of evacuees, especially members of the vulnerable group. She says in areas where they don't have police, they have the Turangani Koro as their groundkeepers. The director says the Turangani Koro and their members will be providing security at the evacuation centers and will also update them on the situation at the centers. People residing in coastal areas, please take precautionary measures as waves measuring 4 meters high are expected to hit our coastal regions, and waves measuring 9 meters high can be expected in the open sea. Vasiti Soko says TC Mel has the possibility of moving closer to the Western Division, and the center will remain on the western side of Vitilevu. She says as it moves closer to the Fiji group, there is a high possibility that it will likely intensify into a Category 3 system as it approaches the system to the Fiji group tonight. Soko says the Fiji Met Service has also confirmed that although it's a Category 2 cyclone, people should brace for intensified wind speed as strong winds of around 120 kilometers per hour is expected from this afternoon. She also stresses that people should move to higher ground while it is still daylight. Moving to Yasawa North Principal, Tomasi Lakemba says the people of Yasawa are currently experiencing strong winds and heavy rain as tropical cyclone Mel approaches Fiji. Lakemba says the weather was fine from last night to this morning. However, it started getting worse from about lunchtime. He says as soon as they heard the cyclone warning yesterday, they started preparing for it. They have secured all the classrooms. He says the village community hall is also set up as an evacuation center, and a school is also on standby for evacuation in case of an emergency. From Yasawa, we move to Rotuma. Rotuma is currently experiencing heavy rain and strong winds as tropical cyclone Mel approaches the Fiji group. Rotuma High School principal Liku Tuapati has told Fiji Village News that everyone is indoors and they have put up cyclone shutters. She says they have also stored food and water to sustain them during the cyclone.
I'm here at Rotuma High School. Just mostly twigs from trees and a lot of fallen fruits, unripe ones, but the houses, no, maybe are okay. But the sea is very rough. Yes, most of us, because we had our BISMAC team set up yesterday, and the message went around all the villages to put up shelters, and I think most of us have done that.
That was Rotuma High School Principal Liku Tuapati speaking from Rotuma. She says the Rotuma Island Dismac team has informed the villagers about the cyclone reaching the Fiji group today, and they have closed off their post office. She said they are also experiencing weak internet connection. On to Malolo Island, the resort manager Sakaraya Vonotambua says contingency plans are in place if tropical cyclone Mel intensifies. Vonotambua says they have been monitoring the situation and also advised their guests on the current path of the cyclone. He says they understand the cyclone is approaching the country and they are well prepared. The resort manager says all travel is suspended and they will reopen once the authorities have given the green light. To ensure the safety of the elderly, the pregnant women, and the vulnerable in the community, the villagers of Silana in Tailevu have relocated the elderly people to Nabunisea Primary School in Tailevu before nightfall. Silana villager Sanaila Rokotuivuna says they had already experienced cyclone devastation when Winston hit Fiji in 2016, and this time the villagers have not left things to the last minute. Rokotuivuna says food and water has been stored by villagers and they have also put up shutters. He says it was calm and sunny at Silana village earlier today, and villagers continued with their chores, but they were getting prepared for Cyclone Mel as well. People of Gawia settlement in Lami have continued with their preparations for Cyclone Mel, which is expected to hit the Fiji group tonight. Gawia resident Api Salome Mode says today youths in Gawia are reaching out to every household and putting up shutters as well as clearing the drains to avoid flooding in the area.
What we're doing now is putting up shutters, all households, and the youth actually helping out to put shutters up in every household here in Gawia, and now you can hear the hammers hitting the sides of the houses as they prepare for tonight when the wind is anticipated to be moving closer to Vigilio.
That was Gawia resident Api Salome Mode. He says there is no water supply from midday to today in Gawia. Divisional Police Commander North, Senior Superintendent of Police Kemueli Mbalin Rokanroka is urging people in the north living in low-lying areas to move now before it gets dark. SSP Balin Rokanroka is also urging parents and guardians to ensure the safety of their families and not let children go out to flooded areas or play in flooded rivers and drains. No evacuation centers are open in the north for now, but they are all on standby if the weather changes. Speaking to Fiji Village News, SSP Mbalin Rokanroka says it's quiet at the moment and they're closely monitoring the situation. He says no serious problems have occurred overnight, but the team in the north is prepared. People are advised to take heed of the current weather updates and offer assistance to vulnerable groups in the communities and support them when and where needed to ensure their safety. Members of the public are urged to contact the Fiji Police Force on 917 and the National Fire Authority on 910 if you need assistance in moving to high ground. And on to sports. Atma Maharaj, who is Yashnil Karan's personal coach, says he has been training well in the 5 months he has been there and is ready for the Pacific Games in the Solomon Islands. Maharaj says this was due to Karan getting injured at the Commonwealth Games and it has taken him 9 months. He says over the past years he has leaned on former athletes like Israeli Nekel Kelivesi to help Yashnil Karan out in 2021.
If we give the athletes an opportunity that they are capable of, then they will excel.
Now, Maharaj is talking about Yashnil Karan because Yashnil Karan has set a record. They took part in a competition and they have managed to beat a national record that has been standing for a long time, and that has resulted in Fiji preparing well for the Pacific Games. And I will get the details for you in relation to that. Yashnil Karan is the 22-year-old. Confirmed, it has been confirmed he broke a 30-year-old 5,000 meters national record by 15 seconds with a time of 14 minutes and 31.73 seconds at the University of Queensland. The previous record of 14 minutes, 46.40 seconds was set by Davendra Prakash Singh in Melbourne in November 1993, who had battered performances by legends such as Rick Kermode and Usea Sotutu. So, congratulations, big congratulations to Yashnil Karan. He'll be also running in the Pacific Games in the athletics competition. 22-year-old, confirming, former Tavua College student who also won gold in the Coca-Cola Games. He's broken a 30-year-old 5,000 meters national record by 15 seconds with a time of 14 minutes and 31.73 seconds at the University of Queensland. Before I leave you, as the Category 2 system intensifies and moves closer to us, stay listening to us and following us on Fiji Village for the latest updates on Tropical Cyclone Mel and how this will affect us. We are here with you and will continue to provide the latest information. You can also check our website, Fiji Village, for the latest news, warnings, alerts, interviews, videos, photos, and weather forecast maps. You can visit our website. You can check out our live streaming frame, which has all the emergency numbers that you can contact and ensure that you move to higher ground if you're in a vulnerable area before nightfall. The authorities have made the call. We are calling on you, and also ensure that you keep your children safe and everyone safe. Get them out of the roads and ensure that they are in the safety of your homes.